Welcome to Simply Liminal. My name is Stacy. This is my daily 2-card reading for Tuesday, January 30th, 2024. We are almost to the end of this month, and we're almost to the end of this week working with this Oracle deck. So this is the Angel Heart Sigils Oracle by Stuart Pearce. He is an author and channel who has channeled messages and sigils, orbs, and concepts from 12 archangels that he associates with the civilization of Atlantis. When I was guided to work with this deck this week, I've had this deck for a couple years, as well as a companion deck of it, and I've always been I feel like it's a very intense deck, and it's very deep, and when I work with it, which I do, I usually spend an hour, 2 hours, like researching, journaling, focusing on the cards, the energy, the information. And so when I was guided to use them for these readings this week, I was resistant because I know that this is a very deep deck. I would like to keep these kind of simple to help us see the beauty that you can get in a simple message from source through oracle cards. But this week, I've been guided to this more intense, more deep deck. I think that's because right now the energy and intensity that's going on in the world needs this. We need this information. So I continue to work with this an oracle deck, and I do 2-card pulls, and I'm looking at the energy of the day, which is, the energy that's coming at us, and then the focus of the day, or the focus that we put into then the energy that's coming at us. So focus is our intention, our effort, our response. Before I do any of these readings, I open a circle of light and love and protection around myself. I also include that circle for the collective and anyone certainly who watches these readings, whether it's today, tomorrow, next week, or next year. I also invite in my spirit guides and guardians, the spirit guides and guardians of the collective, and the spirit guides and guardians of people watching this video to help me act as a clear channel for this message, even when the message is through a more complicated method or deck. I think that this deck and the archangel energy is very important for this time in our world, in our lives, and that's why we're working with this now. So we're going to look at the energy of the day. Well, that was energy. I don't know what card that wanted to come up. Okay, and then we're going to look at the focus. Focus. Now, these are shiny cards. I never noticed it until I put them under the camera. They're very shiny. I've worked with my lighting. I've changed it every day, and I'm still getting a glare. And so I'm just going to look at this as the divine light of source shining down on us, and we're going to do the best we can with it. So I'll read from these cards intuitively to the best I can, and then I will read from the guidebook as well. So we have, this is another repeat card for us. This is the Archangel Uriel. There is that symbol, and this is the card Veneration. And we have this early in the week. These are gurus, bodhisattvas, people that are learning, wisdom, knowledge, enhancing themselves. And by enhancing themselves, they're helping their soul. So this is the energy that is coming through us today. And when I say helping their soul, I mean helping their soul develop, because we all have souls and we're all developing souls all the time. That's what our experiences are about. Uriel is considered the divine companion in this deck, associated with freedom, abundance, friendship, and trust. Also, commonly, Uriel is seen as the fiery sword, or the angel of light, or the fire of God. So, an intense angel for this card representation. So let me read this Veneration card, which this came up earlier in the week, and so I find these repeat cards so important for us. The holy ones, the angels and ministers of grace, teach us that the person who has removed the inner argument of doubt about the divine will receive enlightenment. Further, the person who whose love of life is rich, who holds the planet in light, knowing there is no music in fear, comprehending that the compassion of sound and the clarity of the light are dual energies from source, will be revered. So bathe in the light of the source. It's funny because we sure got a light glaring down on this card. By gazing on the images of the Yogananda and Babaja in this icon, and feel their heartfelt light move deeply within your soul. Then feel the reverence of this engenders, as it is a deep gesture of respect. These bodhisattvas remind us that they are God in human form, and so Uriel, the divine companion, overshadows your life as they do when you kneel in reverence, and provides you with your mana from heaven to bathe you in peace. So this is intense energy coming at us. So intense energy, we just need to be open and accepting to it. And hopefully our focus card will explain in a way how we will do that. So this is a new card for us. We haven't seen this one this week. This is Shamael. There is this angel's card. Now, this is an angel that tends to be associated with more feminine energy, and the card is reconciliation. And if I'm not mistaken, the photo, the image on this card is Ronald Reagan and Mikhail Gorbachev, you know, like shaking hands and finding some peace, which is interesting. You know, we're still seeing ramifications of this 40 years later. But this is the energy we're given today. So Shamael is considered the divine guide. She is tied to planting the tree of life in the Garden of Eden, watches over us in moments of great challenge, and tied to beginnings and transformation. Now, sometimes there are ideas that these archangels have multiple different spellings of their names. I'm kind of going with stuff I pulled from my past, from history reading, and also as he is named this card, this angel, the divine guide. So reconciliation is kind of the idea of, okay, you know, you're going to get a few things that you like, and I'm going to get a few things that I like, and we're going to kind of meet in the middle and put some of our differences behind us for the greater good, so we can move forward and help something better happen. And so that is how I read this card. That is how I see the energy of this day. Let us read from the card here, because I would like to know what Stuart Pierce says. I just have to find it. Sorry, I'm trying to get to the right card. Here we go. About this, because I think that the energy, well, let's read this card and then we'll discuss it. Reconciliation, excuse me. Shamael, as the divine guide, is always present for you to help you reap the reconciliation from conflict, no matter what level or theme or operation. The ritual of reconciliation is an expression of the infinite, and therefore exclusively part of the angel's consciousness, for they comprehend the nature of duality on this planet, even though other planetary domains they serve do not have the similar vibrational fields. Many major reconciliations are taking place at this time on our planet, as we saw with Ronald Reagan and Mikhail Gorbachev in 1989, bringing closure to the Cold War. This was when the strife that raged for years between the Soviet of the East and the capitalists of the West came to a point of closure. This was an act of supreme significance, bringing further national actions of reconciliation which define the interconnectivity of our species. Therefore, the choice of this card propels you to review your own life to see if reconciliation is necessary, and thence to complete the action with Shamael's heartfelt aid. So this is an intense reading. It is an intense day. We're being told here with the energy that's coming at us that it's almost awe-inspiring energy that we need to venerate ourselves to. We just kind of need to kneel down to and appreciate and know what's happening. And then our focus is the allowance of reconciliation. Not just allowing it, but to look internally at ourselves and see where we can reconcile, who we can reconcile with, and how that is going to help make things better for us in our individual lives, maybe in our families, maybe in our work relationships, maybe for our communities, maybe for our planet as a whole. I am really curious to see what this Tuesday brings to us. Quite an interesting reading. I hope you found the reading helpful. I hope you've connected with it in some way. I hope you're liking this deck. I would love to hear any comments you have on this deck, or if you've worked with this deck before. It's a beautiful deck. It's just very deep and very intense and very mystical. Please like, please subscribe, please share, please comment. I would really appreciate to hear what you have to say and what you're thinking about these decks. We're almost done with this week, and we're almost done with this month, which is hard to believe. My name is Stacy. Thank you for visiting Simply Liminal with me.